In her 1996 Nobel lecture, Szymborska explains her wariness of people whose minds are certain and whose consciences are clear. In her view, the problem with such people is that they think they know everything. They know, she says, and whatever they know is enough for them once and for all. They don't want to find out about anything else, since that might diminish their argument's force. In the most extreme cases, she says, citing well-known cases from ancient and modern history, this kind of ironclad certainty has posed a lethal threat to society. How did Szymborska respond to this fixation on certainty? In her poem titled Possibilities, she says, "I prefer having some reservations." In her Nobel lecture, she goes on to say that the problem with certainty is that it has no interest in new information or advances in knowledge. This sets up a roadblock. Reservations about what we know, on the other hand, lead us to ask about what we don't know. These questions clear the way for new discoveries and yet another swarm of new questions. The term she uses for this forward-moving cycle is inspiration. Whatever inspiration is, she says, it's born from a continuous "I don't know." She explains that little phrase, "I don't know," is small, but it flies on mighty wings. If Isaac Newton had never said to himself, "I don't know," the apples in his little orchard might have dropped to the ground like hailstones, and at best he would have stooped to pick them up and gobble them with gusto. Had my compatriot Marie Curie never said to herself, "I don't know," she probably would have wound up teaching chemistry at some private high school for young ladies from good families, and would have ended her days performing this otherwise perfectly respectable job. But she kept on saying, "I don't know." And these words led her not once but twice to Stockholm, where restless, questing spirits are occasionally rewarded with the Nobel Prize. Curie is a good example of why reservations are so important. Her discoveries never would have happened without her relentlessly saying, "I don't know." Working first with her husband Pierre and then others, Curie spearheaded the discovery of radium and subsequently developed the concept of radioactivity. Her fundamental insight, widely judged preposterous at the time, was that the emission of energy by uranium ore came not from a chemical reaction, that was the only available explanation at the time, but rather from the way its atoms were put together. Even before it became clear how completely her insight would change the way we live, one of her contemporaries observed, "No single discovery, not even Pasteur's far-reaching discovery of microbic life, has ever been more subversive of long-accepted scientific views or given rise to more perplexing problems regarding matters which were previously thought to be thoroughly understood." Inspiration is generated from a continuous "I don't know." Inspiration does not come to us when we mindlessly cling to the usual answers and blindly mimic the usual actions. Rather, it visits us when we have reservations, when we replace periods with question marks, transpose causes and consequences, and choose guesses over guarantees. Inspiration lives in the open places in our minds, the unexplored regions of our hearts, and the uncharted domains of our experience. It listens for those who confess their faith in its vitalizing presence by saying simply, "I don't know." Almost everything hangs on our ability to ask the question. At stake is our basic approach to life, whether certainty has closed our minds or whether reservations have kept them open. Whether you're planning a celebratory dinner, aspiring to run a country, or mulling over your own path ahead, reservations are a good thing to have. They keep you open, alert, ready to move ahead. When we keep our minds open, life has a chance to show up for us. Anything can happen. Actually, miracles can happen. In her poem titled Miracle Fair, Szymborska proclaims, "A miracle, just look around. The world is everywhere." Amen. I love you. May God bless us all.